And we are back right here in the AWS studio at Mobile World Congress Barcelona. I'm here with Jon Young, Solutions and Commercial Group Exec of Telstra. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So normally in the studio, we get a chance to talk about product launches, feature announcements, customer stories. And what I love about today is we get to talk about cloud transformation, not just from within, but for your own end customers and clients. And I think that's incredibly powerful.
Yeah,
so to start the journey, tell us a little bit more about your role in Telstra.
So I'm part of the B2B sales team in the enterprise group, and I'm effectively pre-sales plus. And what I mean by that is we help the sales team be the best they can with our customers through commercial propositions, pricing, go-to-market strategies, but then also with the technical solutioning and architecture that goes behind that.
And when I think about the Telstra differentiation, I think Versent jumps right to the top of my list as I think about the disruptive work you're doing there with AWS and how you've been able to acquire such a broad and deep set of capabilities for cloud transformation. Can you share a little bit more?
Yeah, 100%. Look, I mean, obviously AWS and Telstra are a long-standing great partnership and relationship that we've had for many, many years, both as users of their cloud services, but then more importantly, we understood the value of being able to go to market with AWS. And as you mentioned, Versent has been a fantastic addition to our family. And I mean, we now have the largest sovereign professional services organization in Australia. And what Versent brings connected to what is the best connected network in Australia is just gives us an ability to take things to the next level with our customers and leverage our network with the AWS services, plus the Versent ability to just get deep and understand the customer to just do some really amazing things.
So largest sovereign professional services team in Australia, award-winning, partner of the year last year in APJ.
You said it.
You're a premier consulting partner, 5 AWS competencies. What's the secret?
You know what? I think it's just a deep appreciation for understanding not just pushing technology for the sake of pushing technology, like here's a box and what can I do with it? It's more about really understanding how technology and connectivity can enable just really fantastic business outcomes. And Telstra has been on that journey for a couple of years, and I think we've been getting really good with our focus in mining, energy, and construction, which obviously this is what we're going to talk about today. But Versent just kind of added that extra mix of herbs and spices, and it's just made it this really, really amazing proposition.
So in the spirit of those herbs and spices, I want to go maybe cook something here together.
Okay.
What we love to do on the show, talk about a specific customer example. And when you won AWS Partner of the Year for the energy and utilities vertical in APJ, it was all about the work you did with Woodside, a leading energy firm, been around for 70 years, I think more than 4,000 employees. Tell us about some of the challenges that your client faced.
Look, Woodside came to us with a proposition and an ask, and I think what the Versent team was very quickly able to understand was this could be a lot more than just moving compute to the cloud, right? It was about how could we do that, but then at the same time optimize their compute, and in doing so, freeing up capacity, and not just freeing up capacity to save money, but freeing up capacity to be able to use that capacity to then add innovation into what they weren't able to do at that point in time. Through that innovation, it almost became like a self-fulfilling prophecy in which every time they were freeing up capacity, they were looking at it as a way to be able to say, well, how can I use this compute to innovate, to add more value, to free up more things, obviously complex stacks, and being able to use more of that compute capability to be able to really unlock potential, and in this case, innovation. And that's what made this quite different. It wasn't just a move it and forget it. It was about moving it, optimizing it, and then using that freed up capacity to add innovation into their organization.
And what were some of the outcomes that Woodside was able to enjoy?
Look, I mean, they're like really heavy asset utilities, right? And you want to make sure that you're getting your best return on investment. And in this case, that innovation and that freed up capacity was able to do things like better maintenance, preventative maintenance, and kind of, I know it's the buzzword in MWC right now, but obviously bringing in AI to be able to do some really, really great things with them. But it wasn't rocket science. It was really just about making sure that the things that mattered to that customer, which in this case is safety, operational efficiency, preventative maintenance, and those things, were baked into the solution that we were giving to them.
I love how you mentioned AI and not just generative AI, because of course the traditional classical AI approaches coupled with generative AI is I think what makes that solution stack so powerful.
Correct.
So how does Telstra think about its vision for how you leverage those tools to deliver value to your end customers?
It's a great question. Look, and for us, you know, we've been on a journey, and actually AI has become critical to everything we do in our organization. And Vicky, our CEO, had a keynote on day one of MWC, and she spoke a little bit about how we're no longer just about using AI for data and using AI to do the things that everyone else is doing, but we actually had a bit of a rethink about this, and we said, how do we become an organization that's fueled by AI? And we've announced a partnership with a great SI, and in doing so, we think we've got an opportunity to embed how we use AI for our own purposes, and that's about unlocking value at an employee level, unlocking value with our network, unlocking value with our digital stack, and just really almost drinking our own champagne. Because if we can't do that internally, then how are we going to be able to sell it to our customers? So AI has become more than just a buzzword. It really is key, integral to every decision that we make in Telstra right now.
And of course, it starts with critical, focused upskilling and a cultural transformation.
Absolutely.
How are you tackling that?
Yeah. Look, for us, it's actually been really exciting. We're working with our partners to make sure that, for example, we've released Copilot to everyone in Telstra. And we're training people to be able to use that. And we're encouraging them to use AI to get curious and use prompts to make them more efficient and to create value in their day-to-day. But then on top of that, for our consumer business, we've released a chat engine that can really free up the capacity and the time that our agents have when consumers are trying to talk with and trying to solve issues for them. And look, and the list just keeps getting longer and longer and longer, but it really is more than just using generative AI. It's about unlocking the potential of AI and starting to talk about agentic AI and what's that going to be able to do for us as well.
And so as you think about some of those potential use cases, particularly as you look externally to some of the clients you're able to serve, beyond the developer productivity that for Sense and others will be unlocked with, what are some of those early use cases and signals that you're seeing?
Look, I actually get pretty excited when I think about the edge capabilities that AWS brings, and when I think about our network, and when I think about we can stay on this industry, right? I think there's an opportunity for us to start rethinking about how those three things come together, and the third one being our network, to start rethinking about what does employee safety look like in these places. They're very aggressive, very harsh environments in which we want to make sure that all of the people that get to that place to work can come back home in the same way that they went there. And if you can move the compute and you can move all of that compute capacity closer to work, you get lower latencies, which enables things like IoT, which enables an ability to track customers, employees, which creates an ability to create an ecosystem closer to the operations, which can unlock a lot of things. So I already spoke about operational efficiencies and preventative maintenance. Obviously, you can take that to the next level. I mean, the list just goes on and on. But for us, it's really adding that extra piece of the edge capabilities is something that's really exciting, and we're starting to tease around. And it's not just with this industry. You can talk about smart cities. You can talk about local councils and what can you do to use video recordings to make places safer. Again, the list just keeps growing and growing and growing.
And of course, it's edge and mobile and fixed assets.
Correct.
And so what might that look like in the context of a customer engagement? Or how do you see that as uniquely complementing one another to provide that end-to-end experience for customers?
Look, that's a great question. And maybe if I was going to layer it, imagining I'm talking to a customer, I would say, let's say you've got a remote location. Australia is massive, right? We're a very, very big country. And our network covers 3 million square kilometers. That's 3 times larger than the second biggest network in Australia. With that coverage, you can start talking about emergency services situations, for example. Let's say it's a fire department or a police agency or something like that. And let's say you're in a situation in which you can guarantee or start having conversations with these customers about how can you provide better services to the community, just because of the fact that in this case, the police officer is going to be able to be connected. They're going to be able to have their video equipment working. The computer on their car is going to be working better. And there's just an assurance and an ability to do things better. And you can't underemphasize just how important that is. It's such a powerful starting point. After that, you can start talking about if it's let's say it's a branch office or something like that, and that's where you can start putting edge computing capabilities in there again, and you can start connecting everything with the AWS cloud. And I'll go back to what we were talking about before. It's about employee safety. It's about operational efficiencies. It's just about unlocking value, really.
What I love about everything you've been describing, you're working backwards from customers, you're cross-industry in nature, you've been developing a playbook that stretches all across those well-architected framework pillars that we use to design our applications.
Correct.
No wonder your team has been able to experience such
great.
wild success. So if we zoom out for a second,
Yep.
and other operators, customers, and partners watching this show here and asking, well, wait a minute, how do I embody that similar transformation mindset? What might be some early steps that one could take?
I really think there's quite an unlock in just stop thinking about the technology for technology's sake. Stop thinking of the persona that you're talking to being the technology contact in the business, and start thinking about what does the head of HR want? What does the head of operations want? What does the CFO want? What are the KPIs and the metrics that drive what they want? Start there, and at the very last point, you put the technology. All right? And I know it sounds very logical, and I know it sounds like something that people should be doing all the time, but you can get seduced by the technology. I mean, if you're at MWC, you're a bit of a tech geek, and you get seduced and excited by all the shiny new objects, and you can very easily end up in a position in which you go, look at this shiny thing that I've got here, do you want it? And you got to go back to basics. Start with what the customer needs and the business outcome that you're going to deliver, and then value engineer a proposition about that makes sense to the customer, and then it's a lot easier from then on.
Well, I'm no crystal ball, but I know you won 2023 Partner of the Year award. You won 2024 Partner of the Year award, and I don't know, I've got to believe that this mindset's going to get you the three-peat. So, Jon, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And if you want to learn more from industry leaders just like Jon, how to embrace transformation for your own end customers, you can visit AWS for Telecom on LinkedIn, on the web, and on behalf of the entire AWS for Telecom team, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. This was great.